Water. There's a mountain behind you, that's a quarter of a mile away, and you couldn't see it.
Barbara Barnigan, made it into the room.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi there. I made it. Woohoo.
Where are you, Barbara?
Olympia.
Can you guys talk again for a moment? We're testing sound.
Sounds fine, David.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
You know, this may be a little close to the mic.
Yeah, stay close to the mic.
Hi, Linda.
So Linda was waving to the one that works best, and Dan was waving to a different direction.
Here we go. Serve. Let's go. Line them up.
That's it. That's the right direction, Linda.
What are they having for breakfast? Anyone know?
I got my coffee. Good morning, Kathleen. Good morning, Great Britain in there. Fog. How did the trip north go?
Has the meeting not started?
No, it has not.
Yeah, what's happening was breakfast got out a little bit late. You know,
They all want to get coffee or breakfast.
Okay, I got it.
Make them feel bad.
So how is everybody?
Wait.
Fine.
foggy
good.
at the
Working on
coast.
coffee.
Me too. Me too.
I was doing payroll at 7 this morning.
I was
I'm
up
trying
at
to get it done
5
before we go to
working
bed.
yesterday till midnight. I'm beat.
Yeah. I was reading a book.
Oh, better.
Yeah. I was like, I looked at the time, I'm all, I need to put this down.
That's great. Do you have one of these, like these reading lights that does a spotlight so you can read at night?
You know, I've been using because I've run out of space. So I've been buying Kindle books, which I'm dealing with. I like paper. I
Yeah.
like my paperbacks, and I've got 3 that I need to read. But you know, the Kindle and it's terrible because I have bought so many books. And if I actually owned these in paper, I'd need an entire wall just to
There
stick
you
on them.
go. There you go.
And I've got a bunch I need to read and a ton I've read already. But
There you go. We have a little library here. It's in the clubhouse, and you can like exchange books in it and books
Oh,
on
nice.
tape. And I've
Yeah.
read some great books from my neighbors.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a book hoarder. I like to keep my books.
Yeah, I know it's hard to get rid of them if they're good.
I'll lend Nancy my books, but then it's like, okay, you almost done because I want my book back.
Yeah, because you don't get them back most of the time, right?
Especially if she's good. She's usually pretty good about it. But you know, with her packing and getting ready to sell her house, it's just been. She's trying to keep track of everything.
Yep. So did you guys have a beautiful sunny day yesterday?
Not till mid-morning.
Yeah. But at least it came out.
It did
Yesterday
come out.
was
Well,
hot.
actually, you know, it was later than that. It took a while for the sun to come out. Now that I think about it.
And it was too hot.
It was hot.
It's really hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have to water the plants twice.
I just have to keep changing the bird bath water when it gets hot.
Yeah. Eric is so funny. He bought one of those little solar fountains. So it sits in the middle of your bird bath, but it shoots up so high that it kind of spits the water out of the bird bath.
Oh, I want one. I have the perfect one for that because I have a deeper one.
Yeah, he loves it. And so it sits in the middle and it shoots the water out. So basically by the end of the day, it's emptied out and we have to fill it every night anyway.
Yeah. And the hummingbirds must love it because they love water that goes up, you know?
Yeah. And it's solar, so I mean, anytime the sun's on it, it's.
Oh my gosh!
He found it on Amazon.
Oh, I've never bought anything from Amazon. I've been political that way.
Oh, then look at maybe Petco.
Okay.
It's just a solar bird bath fountain.
I will find one. That is my mission.
Kathleen, try Chewy, Chewy.
Yeah, Chewy. I get a lot of Chewy and Amazon. Hey, David. Hey, David, you guys, we can't hear you and you're frozen.
know what he did. So that mic was working, we should be good. So Linton Hill, I guess everybody was greeting everybody. How cool was that? How cool is this? Great to see you guys. So let's have a look at Charlie Judson. We got a flag. Let's do it.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you very much, Charlie. That was great. Jerry Kelly, you have a thought and reflection for us today.
Not very deep, but it just. I know. It's fine. That's it. No, it's just great. It's been a rough year and a half, and it's wonderful to see everybody back in this room together. Thank you for making it.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, DMR.
What do you say?
Here we are, huh?
What did you think of? I thought of some songs, but what did you
Well, it's the first in-person meeting, so we kind of have a trademark song. But what are you thinking of? After all, you're our service leader.
God bless America.
Right? Oh.
No? That's too hard for you?
We can sing
All right,
too.
let's do the theme song. What's the theme song? I don't even know what the theme song is.
Oh, what a beautiful morning.
Oh, what a beautiful
Yeah, well, that's 22 years ago.
I was asleep when you were singing.
Well, I can understand that.
No, he came in late all the time.
Yeah, who's here? I want to hear you all right? Open the windows. Yeah, unmute. Are you ready, everybody? There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's high. And it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way.
Is it just me or did the sound just drop out?
The sound dropped out again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a great song though.
I think what's happening is their connection delay.
First off, look at the speakers. We blew all the mics. And
That's
let's see who's online and has joined us. I feel like Miss Alice at Romper Room. Hi, Helena and Bruce. Hello, Jim. Nice to see you. Diana Curtis, hope you're feeling better. Darlene Brazil. Kathleen Rogers, Wayne Britton, Al Lustig, Barbara you're at your new place? Yeah, and there's Natalie, and there's Judy, and Jim Goodenough. How cool is this? I was beginning to wonder if my entire presidency was going to be consumed in trying to get us up on Zoom. But now there'll be some new kind of nonsense. never gonna keep this meeting on time. It's time to mute all. Michael's trying to eat his breakfast, and then he's walking back and forth. That's his exercise for the day. They're muted. They're muted? Yeah. Okay. Well, our speaker today is gonna be just us. We had a speaker planned, but that speaker had another commitment that had to happen. We'll catch her later. So we think about, just like when you came back to grade school, what did you do during your pandemic vacation? We want to report. Thank you to the people who make this all work for us. Barbara, you're at a distance now, but you're still with us. Diana, sorry you had to, oh, and by the way, wouldn't you know that you would have to leave in order for us to finally have a meeting and we would be back in person. How did that work out for you? Can you unmute yourself and say hi, Barbara? They can't hear me. That's something to do with that Omni mic.
We can hear you. Maybe just repeat the question. Who did you ask that question to? To Barbara?
Barbara Barney.
Barbara?
How are you liking your new face?
Here she goes.
There you go. Okay, now I'm unmuted. It's different on the iPad. What do you want? What do you want to know?
Not much.
Good. I don't know much.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're both in the same boat then. And
I can't.
These other leadership volunteers who are bringing us all of this. And these guys. It's always nice to know, people are always asking, who's in charge of what? That's why I'm running these slides for you, so you have it memorized. We have a celebration today. Larry Pietrovon. And Rod is going to come up. Guess what?
Hey, it's Larry.
There's Larry. And once a Rotarian, yeah. There's Larry. Come on. There's Larry. Indeed. So you can wander off the Rotary, you never get totally detached from it. And I came into this club in 2002 in the spring. And Larry was behind the scenes at that time. Larry stayed behind the scenes for the next 20 years. And it was probably a year or so before I realized Larry was actually a member of the club. And he was not only a member of the club, he was an active member of this club. And he was contributing to the Rotary Foundation on a regular basis. And so today, it gives me great pleasure, because this actually came to pass when I was foundation chairperson. And this pin came in for Larry Patrico. And it is a Paul Harris pin with 3 sapphires on it. It's a Paul Harris +3. Get up on your feet.
Thank you. Move this. We want to see it.
You're not gonna poke him, Ron? No.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna be able to poke me. There we go. Happy for this. I'm happy to be here. I don't know if everybody heard or not. You know, I had a little scare last year. Was in the hospital for about a month, but everything came out okay, and everything's doing great now.
They just didn't cut enough off my stomach on the outside, but they took a lot on the inside out. But everything's doing great. I'm feeling healthy now and starting life again. So now that COVID's over, we can really get started. So we'll keep it going. Thank you, Rod. Yes, please.
What, Larry, don't sit down just yet. There is the, oh, there we go. Yeah. So, 22 years ago, or thereabouts, we didn't have much of a cave. And as the story goes, Joe and Catherine Graham put the heavy pressure on Larry to be our cave, and he kept turning them down. Eventually, Catherine said, well, why don't you just come for breakfast?
No. Catherine said she was taking me out for breakfast. She
did
not mention Rotary. She said, well, let's get together and have breakfast. And she brought me here. And it was that bad. And I looked at her and I said, okay, I'll do it. Because the food was that bad. So from then on, that was, what year was that? 1989, I believe it was. 1989. And from then on, we grew a lot. We've had a great time.
Especially you, we grew.
Well, yeah, you guys. We went through it. We got enough wine that was going through everybody. I think it was because we would give people a lot of wine, and then we would make them become members. So I think that worked too. So 22 years later, this is where we are. But thank you.
So through thick and thin, you've been here, and through Christmas dinners and all sorts of fundraisers. It's been quite a ride, and we love you, and we have treasured every moment that you were catered. And just a small token of our appreciation for you to put on your mantle. You have to buy a battery, you were too cheap.
No, it died.
Oh, it died. There we go.
I'm sure the bill didn't make it, so. At least this one, my name's spelled right.
There you go.
So,
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, Larry, don't sit down. This is the Rotary Larry Show. So all this fun stuff happened during my year, and Zoom became a thing, and we learned, Michael helped, and then it carried on. And so I was the first one to have my debunking by Zoom, which you guys did a great job. But you weren't around, you had moved out of town. And so I have just a little bit of Best Chef Award that you missed, and we knew you were going to come back. And this one says, this certificate is awarded to Larry for your contributions to the club and the community, and for having the best oatmeal ever. Now, I thought about that driving in here, and I thought, wait a minute. Yes, it is the best oatmeal ever, but there's also the best asparagus soup ever from the senior center that you used to do. And then there's the best polenta ever. And I don't know what you cook that's yummy. So here's to the best chef ever, and here's your award. Okay. And you can come back anytime. Oh, who's this? Oh, this is Joe.
Joe now. Thank you, Dave.
Although I want to say that Michael, let's give Michael a hand for coordinating today's breakfast, because it was very good.
Recognition. Usual thing, but at the end, when we get to the recognition slot, if there's somebody here who wants to make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation or Club Foundation or an act of kindness, you're up. And first up is Marty Webb. Must be a beautiful baby.
Spelled my name wrong.
Now, what?
Spelled my
name wrong. But
No way.
another
Yeah,
page.
way, okay. Sorry about that.
President, find the president.
How'd that happen? I thought I
I'll buy a bee.
So Marty's paying all my fines this year. So happy birthday to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm gonna be 72 on Friday, and on Saturday we're gonna have a barbecue with the kids and the grandkids over. And so people are not surprised if they see me around with somebody. Mrs. Webb is back at my house. Who she sold her house in Reading and is coming back and is staying for until she buys a house. So if you see, the other day I had Dewey and his wife, Dewey Watson and his wife over for dinner. I said, I do not be surprised if there's a Mrs. Webb here. But it is, she's living here until she buys the house.
And so she buys the house, or you buy her a house?
You give her your house.
You forgot that I had a prenuptial.
Thanks for the reminder, though.
Anyway, thank you, and I will, I have a fundraiser going on Facebook for supporting the Rotary Empire Council of the Boy Scouts, and I'm hoping, I'm going to be sending out something this week on Facebook to Scout leaders here to see if Charlie has a great idea of getting maybe a troop, maybe a mixed troop of boys and girls Scouts in here. And of course, girls are now in the Boy Scout program called Scouting to teach us not time.
Thank you, Marty.
That'll be great. Happy birthday to you, Marty.
Yeah, thank you.
Natalie McNamara, you are in the Zoom audience. Would you unmute yourself because it is your Rotary anniversary on the 30th?
Okay, hi. Hi, everybody. Great to see everybody.
Hey, Natalie. Hey, Natalie.
Hi. How's that yummy breakfast? So am I supposed to say something? It's my 1 year anniversary, or 3 year, right? No, 2. I don't know. Years fly by. Couple of years.
Seems like 20.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful ride. So thank you, everyone. I love the spirit. I love singing with you and just starting the day the Rotary sunshine way. I can't hear you. No, didn't catch any of that. I'm sorry. It just scattered. Okay.
So this is our 30th anniversary. So our kids are actually flying in tonight. So we'll be having a party Saturday night to celebrate the rest of the river.
Where's that again? Everybody make notes.
Sebastopol.
We'll
right here. Right here.
Yeah. Right here, yeah.
David's house. David's sponsor.
Yeah, come to my house, why not? And don't you not show up. We want to help you celebrate your anniversary. So wonderful, congratulations. That's a fabulous accomplishment.
She's gonna not show up.
And major gratitude to our setup team. People were in here bright and early. I scrolled in, I don't know, about 6:30, and it was all happening already. Our breakfast team, Michael, who do you want to acknowledge?
Marty was here, Joe was here, Bill Saba was here, Larry, of course.
Fabulous. Thank you. I understand the breakfast is marvelous. Our technology team. Guess what, guys? We're finally doing Zoom, and they told us it couldn't happen. How many sessions did it? 5 sessions, 2 hours each, interminable and chaotic, and finally is occurring. Not perfect, but getting close. And again, our club service team for helping us with all of the things that put us here. Mark Reese in the audience. We'll catch that boy later. Winton, you've been traveling. You got rainbows overhead.
Gosh, thank you, Michael. Michael Cook, the Global Offsite Care, and my wife and I had an evening with an auction where we were a little crazy. And I got to go to Jim Becker's house in Hunter, which is in the place, the corner where it rains most of the time, and it's so wonderful to be in rain. You know, and just to actually went and lay on the lawn and got rained on, because there's no poisonous spiders there, and it was just a lovely week. We were actually, my wife and I saw a rainbow right up at the top of Volcano National Park. It was just magical. So I could go on.
Well, introduce us to your family. We see their picture.
Well, my sweetie Jen, at the bottom right there, she put this up on Facebook. That's my son, who's not that much taller than me, because I'm back. And that's his girlfriend, Jasenia, who he met 2 weeks before the whole COVID lockdown, and they've been very close. And gosh, I don't know what to say. It was a beautiful time. My wife is in love with Hawaii, which is a big deal for a woman from Saskatchewan to be so in love with an island. But people treated us so well. It's a lovely place. So, Ahuiho Malama, which means see you and caring and spirit.
Lovely. Glad you had a great time, and that was wonderful. A shiny penny. Would you care to introduce this new feature?
Sure. This is something that they've asked me to put something together. This will be weekly, and just to find out a little bit more about each other. So we kicked some ideas around, and we came up with this. Now, my concept of the shiny penny was I had a boss one time, first boss, and we would all go into him after about 6 months and said, not that we don't love it here, but how do we get out of here? How do we get a promotion and go somewhere else? And he said, you'd be the shiny penny. What do you mean by that? They would reach into his pocket, pull out his change, and say, which one of those pennies would you take? And most people would grab a shiny penny. A couple of us said, well, let me look at it, because you may have something valuable in there. We're going to look at all your coins. And so what we want to do is kind of find out the shiny penny from our members. And it's going to be, someone said, well, it's kind of bragging, and you're not supposed to brag. And it's not bragging if we ask you to tell us. So we've asked 3 members to kind of give us their idea of their shiny penny moment. So Bob Keyser, can you come up?
Actually, I didn't even know what format would be, but I think my shiny penny moment happened a couple of years ago. So what happened is, for 28 years I worked at the county, and I ran into in one of my projects, the drug court program, where I ran into these wildly passionate people at the county, which was unusual, to say the least. And the thing was that I was so taken by their passion that I thought, maybe I could do that. And so the thing was is this all happened while I was at the club. I got 2 more degrees, and for the last 11 years, actually, I've been working for Azure Acres, which is the home of passionate people. And, you know, I wasn't looking for a segue career, but I'm insanely passionate about what we do up there. And as of this moment, we have about 50 beds in Sebastopol. And my shiny moment there was twice I've gotten employed here. So it's easy to do good work when you're working with me. That's me.
The next member I'd like to have come up is the Right Reverend Rod McCall. Oh, Henzie, is that the order I gave you? Yeah. Scott Henzie.
Make up your mind.
Ron McCauley. Come on, Ron. Scott needs the exercise.
He's got a collar on. Well, well, it's a long story. Not to tell you the whole thing, but we bought our house here in Sebastopol because one of the reasons, it had this beautiful coastal live oak. It had a 70-foot spread. It's a perfect dome. Sat in the back corner of our backyard. And about 3 years after we moved in, we're sitting at the kitchen table and I hear this big crack. And a third of that tree collapsed over the back fence. No wind, no rain, it was like July. And had arborists look at it and, well, maybe it could survive. A month later, another third cracked over the side fence. So I had Chip Sanborn out there, and his cherry picker, he's up there getting his chainsaw ready to go to take off the last bit. And the third, before he could touch the tree, the third part collapsed against the house. Oh, no problem, bent the ring gutter. I had the trunk salvaged. The trunk was like 3 feet or more diameter and cut into beams and rolled in the garage. And then about 10 years, they said it had to cure 5 years. And then about 10 years later, I had it cut into planks, guy with a mobile sawmill. So I had all these planks in the garage of a coastal live oak, which is not really good construction lumber. So I've been building lately little urns. If you need something for your ashes, you burn them, we earn them. There's a way to practice my wood joint. But some seminary classmates who got married in 2013 said, well, they were wondering about my oak for it. They had a new house in the Atascadero, and they wanted to use my oak for a table, a dining room table. Wow, how neat, you know. So I said, well, I'll build it. Well, I couldn't build a table, but I have an old hiking buddy that Gus knows. We've been in the Sierra together. I've been hiking with since we were 16, and he's a very good furniture builder, craftsman. So I loaded the lumber, I cut it to the sizes I needed and planed it, loaded it in the truck, there on your left, and I drove to Del Mar, which is right by San Diego, and went into his shop and rebuilt. We cut the pieces, we mortised, those are, middle picture are the 8 of the pieces. The mortises for floating tenons that would go into the lakes. And the last picture is a finished table ready to be loaded back on the truck to go up to Atascadero, where I presented it to my classmates. So that was my shiny penny in June. Sorry to stretch it out.
Very good, thank you. No surprise that we're going to have Scott Hensey to come up.
I thought you were going to ask Joe.
You must choose.
We used to keep something else in this bag, but we're not going to talk about that.
Share? No, okay. So the question was, can you think of a time when you did a good thing? And it wasn't easy for me, but I thought something. About 10, 12 years ago, I was out riding the motorcycle. I decided I would stop at Walgreens in Cotai. I don't remember why. And I went and got my item, got in line, big long line. I mean, for Walgreens, it was like 10, 12 people. And I'm moving really, really slow. We're moving really slow. And there's a really big guy in front of me. And I look around the big guy and I see the girl who is taking the money. She's picking up each item and looking at it real close and then scanning it and sending it on the way. And I could see that her eyes were crossed. I mean, she had a real sight problem. And that's why we were going so slow. And I just kind of sighed, and the guy in front of me apparently noticed that she couldn't see, and decided to take advantage of the situation. So he put a couple of his items on the belt, and then he put a couple of bottles of liquor into the jacket that he was carrying. He didn't hide it because he didn't think anybody was going to confront him on it. But I said, no, that's not right, man. Don't do that. You can't do that. That's, because it was like you were stealing from the girl, not from Walgreens. You're in trouble. I said, no, don't do that. So he turns around, looks down, and I realize I might be a little over my head. And he says, well, what are you going to do about it, biker boy? I'm in a black jacket on. And he gives me a push like that. Now, you guys know me, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I was kind of trapped, and I thought, oh, wow, it looks like I'm going to have to defend myself. So I kind of, puffed up and got scary looking, like this. Scary looking. And he took one step forward toward me, and then he put his stuff back on the table and turned around and he walked out of the place. And I went, yeah, you better run. Keep running. Like, yeah, I was feeling pretty good about myself for a second or two. And I got a big round of applause from everybody in line. And I turned around and looked back in line, and there were half a dozen big biker guys down at the other end of the line. So apparently I didn't scare them away.
So your time will come in the next year, maybe come more than once, and please think of something, a great story that tells us about you. Thanks, David.
Perfect. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Okay, here's the time where you say, you know what, I feel inspired. I think I want to give. Anybody feeling like that at this moment? Here. All right.
A+C. So this last weekend, it's 10 days ago,
This is Brian Bauer, folks.
So I went to the East Coast and out business, and mostly for a reunion. And what it was for was 35 years ago. There were 6 of us, Stanford students, didn't know any better. The world said we couldn't do it. We organized a bike ride to benefit like Rotary type projects, international projects, seed funding projects. And it was during Live Aid. You guys remember Live Aid? Everyone was raising funds for hunger and so forth. I said, let's do something like that. We organized a bike trip from 6 cities on the West Coast to New York City, UN building. It's like 250 to 300 cities. And we coordinated housing in every single city and community service events all the way across the country. And this group came back together last weekend, and it was really awesome to hear from all these people who are doing nonprofits, Rotary type things. And one guy came, he spoke, and he said, every one of these community service type events that you help is great. It's even better to do it multiple years. It's the best. If you build the groundwork, you establish the basis for a lifetime, and after you pass away, beyond that. So I was the next guy on the mic to tell what I've been doing. I just lost it. What he said was so special. Just, a lot of us do this. What we establish the kind of groundwork for a lifetime beyond us. What Rotary does and what this group does, so much in common. So one of the things we're talking about is maybe doing this again and doing it with Rotary. But now we're a bunch of 55, 60-year-old people. We want to do it. We're trying to connect with young people. And a lot of people are trying to do this, trying to connect like Rotary, connect with much younger people. And that was a real special moment for me. And forward to oh, let's go, bike game.
Hopefully they have electric vehicles for us. Anybody else with a moment they wish to share? Michael.
Hello. Yeah, I've got a bad news, good news story that I just want to share with the club members. On Saturday night, Gail Thomas took a rather bad fall off her patio off her porch onto the concrete patio. She split her head open, bruised some ribs, wound up with about 10 or 12 stitches. The good news is that as of late yesterday afternoon, she is home. She's doing okay. I wouldn't inundate her with phone calls because we're trying to get her some rest. Her family is with her. But I think some texts or some emails might be appreciated just to let her know that you're thinking about her.
Thank you for that, Judy. Sorry to hear it. Michael.
On a lighter note, about 45 years ago, my father and two other cronies bought a building in downtown Traverse City. And it was right along the Boardman River. And it was a retail and apartment building kind of thing. And they paid next to nothing for it 45 years ago. And it just sold for much more than they paid for it. The funny thing is that it's right on the river, and Traverse City is being just inundated with floods right now. And there's a very good likelihood that building's gonna wash away in the next few days. So I'm really glad that escrow closed last week, so I got $100 towards the foundation.
Michigan. Any more takers on that? Let's hear from Dan Needham.
So last week, I got to spend a week up in Brookings, Oregon. My mom and my stepdad came out from Sandpoint, Idaho. We had a place right on the beach there. It was very nice to spend a little time in the water and in the sun. Had great weather and just some really great family time. So I'll make a nice contribution to our club foundation. Acknowledge that. Pictures to follow.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Anyone else? Moving on. Announcements. Are there announcements in the room? Dan Needham.
So I sent out an email yesterday, as it was, that we have our last Thursday of the month, now our Redwood Empire Food Bank volunteer day. They reduced
Wednesday.
the afternoon shift. What's that?
Wednesday, right?
Last Wednesday, I'm sorry. Thank you, Michael. So they've reduced the number of hours. It used to be a 3-hour shift, now it's 2 to 4, a 2-hour shift. And we've got a handful of us that are going to be there today. But if you can't do it today and you can mark your calendars for the next couple of months, that would be great. And we'll continue to help out people who need some food. Thanks a lot. That's my note.
And actually on the sign up, it was nice because you got it booked for 3 months ahead. So we could sign up for all 3 months. It was kind of nice.
Actually, Kathy Rogers, Dan and I talked this morning about getting that onto the signup.com volunteer management site. So be warned, it's coming.
But I thought we couldn't do it for the food bank because they had their own website for volunteers. Is that over?
No, that's not over. We figured it out.
Okay. Okay. Well, you call me. Okay.
And there is news of a special gift that's going to Tanzania. Jerry Meshlam is going to speak.
Hello, everybody. That's a photo of me and Dr. Eunice Mabello, who I met in either 2017 or 18 at the first Eastern Africa Project Fair in Uganda. I rode around on a bus with him all day, sit next to him and heard about his projects in Tanzania in a rural town of Bukoba. And that gave way to the global grant that we did, a very successful global grant that our club was the international sponsor for. And he sent me an email the other day saying they're having a real problem with COVID patients there. And the government's not getting the vaccine that they need, and people are getting sick. And if you could help me get 5 oxygen generators, that would be wonderful. $1,630 each. We have a very generous donor to the club here that designated the donation to buy 3 of them. And yesterday I did a wire transfer of $5,000 to Tanzania. Now, oxygen generators are portable, they're kind of portable machines that take the oxygen out of the air and separate the nitrogen. The air is like 21% oxygen and the rest nitrogen or smog or whatever. And so these concentrators will separate the oxygen from the nitrogen, and people put a thing in their nose, and if they're low on oxygen from COVID, it'll help them. It can prevent them from actually having to go onto a ventilator. And as you know, once you're on a ventilator, it's iffy. So he's buying 3 of the concentrators, and they're hospital grade, and each one can service 2 patients. So 6 patients. And our club is saving lives in Tanzania. So wonderful. And if anybody would like to help make a contribution toward the other 2 that he wanted, just come and see me later, and we can work that out. But the money's already there for the 3, and I just got a text from him this morning. He's negotiating. We send it in U.S. dollars, and he negotiates with the bank there. They give him a really special exchange rate, rather than if you just send it and let Wells Fargo do the exchange. They still keep for it. So Rotary all the way.
Fabulous. So another 1,600, we could buy a 4th concentrator, save more lives, right?
That's right.
How cool would that be? So we can talk to you about it. Thank you very much. I want to talk to you later. You know, something else remarkable about this meeting, another first. This is the first time, Henry Alker, that you have been in person in a meeting with us. Right side up. And not upstairs. Glad to see you. Welcome. Hope you love the breakfast, and delighted that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. So tomorrow, Thursday, 5:30. If you didn't have enough Rotary already, you can do this. Diana, do you want to say a few words?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Yes, yeah, we'll be having the SCARC meeting tomorrow at 5:30, and everybody's welcome to join us in that. I think it ought to be very interesting. This is, I guess, is this our Zoom, totally Zoom SCARC meeting? And we'll get together with the other clubs and find out what's going on. But thank you, and please join us.
There was an email sent out a little bit ago, within the last couple of days. You can go on to the site. Oh, I'm finding it on my screen. That little Zoom link down there is live, so just grab it and go. Club news. Dan, you talked about that. Kathy Rogers has already announced that First Friday will be at Woodford on Depot Street, 5:30 till whenever. Add these to your calendar. Snap a shot with your phone if you want. 3, 2, 1. Next slide. Next week's presenter is going to be Mark Essex, Sonoma County Sheriff. Looking forward to that. As we all know, elected officials sometimes get into litigation. I don't believe that Mark would be able to share any information about that, so if we ask a dull question like that, probably won't go well. Everything else is game though, right? So, what did you do on your pandemic vacation? Who wants to start? Well, Whitten went to Hawaii, we got that.
Michael? Well, I was very fortunate in that for the vast majority of the pandemic, the golf courses were so my game hasn't gotten any better, but I've been playing a hell of a lot of golf.
Not true.
But I've been playing a hell of a lot of golf, and it's really been a godsend as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I did on my vacation.
It's a good idea. You get a star.
So I worked, people still have eyes, and people still need to have things taken care of with their eyes, but I also made masks and donated to the hospitals, and I think at last count I was pretty close to over 2,000. And after I donated to the Sutter Hospital Santa Rosa, Sutter Hospital Roseville, with my kid, the Navajo Nation, I started selling for donations to the club foundation. I don't remember how much I did given to Jerry, but a few $100s. So every little bit helps.
So with COVID, you know, you can't get close to people and all of that. So what I did for the last year or so, I really got into bird photography because the birds are a little farther away and, you know, they don't know anything. They don't wear masks, and so they look really cute. And I've gotten pretty heavily into getting a whole new camera system and new lenses and spending way more than I should have. But anyway, been really enjoying a new hobby of photographing birds. And I'm going to be presenting on August 11th. I'll be in the program and talking about birds and showing lots of cool things.
If you haven't seen Jerry's work on Facebook that he's been posting, it's spectacular.
It is. Well, I put my money where my mouth is. As you know, I was on the front page of the PD 3 times attacking the county and their organization of the vaccine. Because it was a disaster when this started. And so Jason Cunningham called me and said, "Will you volunteer to help us?" So I did 8 clinics, checked people in, got a chance to meet a lot of people that I didn't know and work with, like Jason Cunningham and like Rain, who were just great people down at the West County Health Center. And what I'm telling you is starting next week in August, there's going to be 2 more clinics that are starting. They're going to start at 2:30 in the afternoon and go to 6. Hopefully we'll get some high school kids in there to get their shots before school starts. So, but anyway, that's what I did. I was able to, you know, I was tired by the end of the day of standing up that long or sitting at a table, but it was worthwhile to give people in the West County vaccine.
I found myself getting more in touch with people around the world that I knew, but we'd sort of drifted to Christmas cards and the occasional email. And COVID seemed to bring us a lot closer and back to the friendships that we've known. So that was a very pleasant part of it. I spent a lot of time on daily diversions, enjoyed doing that. And that's about it.
Smile.amazon.com. I did a lot of shopping online, and a percentage of it went to our club. You can name the nonprofit of your choice, and a small percentage goes to that nonprofit, but it does add up, especially if we all do it. I even have my kids doing it. And what did I buy? Those of you who know me No, I like to cook and take pictures of my food and put it on Facebook, and it's called Linda's Freestone Kitchen. And we got a few gadgets. I got air fryer.
Yeah.
I got a sous vide. Terry Kelly inspired me on that one. And I got a juicer, an Omega juicer. So my repertoire grew over this time period. I'm cooking a lot of interesting things. Dan brought me some sorrel. I never heard of sorrel, but I started with the sorrel and made a nice miso soup with tofu. So I've had a lot of fun in the kitchen, and I live in a wonderful place. We got to work from home, so I sheltered in paradise and cooked a lot.
Did your cabinet space grow as well?
The pantry is full.
Dan, one more time. Sit there.
Okay, so Linda mentioned sorrel. Over the last 20 years, I've done somewhat valiant attempts at having gardens at my house, but usually the deer, the turkeys, the skunks, the raccoons, the crows ate pretty much everything, and the gophers ate pretty much everything. But last year, I built an 18-foot by 18-foot enclosed with deer fence on the outside and bird netting over the top, garden area with raised beds. And so the second year of pretty good harvest, and my tomato jungle, as it looks like, is about to explode with product. So that's what part of what I do.
I'm on orders to stand here and keep you in line.
Good luck.
Go.
Over the years, I've donated blood a lot. It started when I was in the service, because if you donated blood, you got out of duties like KP and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, then while I lived in Nashville, I was part of the Red Cross board, and so, again, I was encouraged to give a lot. But it was always sporadic, you know. If there was a blood drive around, I'd try to go to it, but I never really scheduled them. And then 6 months or so ago, I was at the blood bank center in Santa Rosa, and I walked in and there's Brian there. And he was giving platelets, right? Yeah. And we talked a little bit, found out he's doing it every 3 weeks. I felt like kind of a biker. But ever since then, due to Brian's inspiration, I got signed up, and now every time I go, I just sign up for the 3 weeks hence, and I've been donating platelets ever since. And I ended up finding out that several people that I know actually get platelets. And I didn't find out about that until I was, you know, I met them and still had the thing, would you do that? I get platelets. He says, thank you. I need them. I get them on a regular basis. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much. Now let's hear a primetime joke from Bob Geezer.
Did you know it's on the website? Your panel joke's on the website, Marty? Did you know that?
So you can hear it there.
Oh, wife sends a text message to her husband on a really cold winter morning. Windows are totally closed. Will not open. Husband replies, carefully pour some warm water over it. Tap the edges first with your iron. And if that doesn't work, then gently with a hammer. 15 minutes later, the wife texts back, oh no, I think the laptop is totally gone now.
Thank you. And let's give a hearty round of applause for Michael McLaughlin. We are eating family style. This is not restaurant catered style. So right after the song, would you please bounce your dishes to the kitchen? We can kind of slide them through there, at least get them over on the table or something. And lend a hand to get us all out of here on time. There is going to be an international committee meeting right after prior to this meeting, so we'll try to make it so you can work. And if you folks who are on Zoom, maybe they can just put the camera and the mic over close and make it work that way. Joe.
DMR. Over there on the table, there's some stuff that was left over at our house for debunking. You have one last shot at it, otherwise it's going to make it into the closet, and who knows where it'll go to that.
Kathy, we'll save your knife. We know it's there.
Okay, so here we go. Trails to you until we end.
Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Thanks all you folks in Zoom land. How did that go for you? You were able to hear most of it?
Maybe the sound was suspect. And I have some thoughts and I'll pass on to Michael Cook.
You have something you want to talk to Michael Cook about?
Great for a first place.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, Bruce. Can you hear me now?
See you now, Michael. I'll send you an email with some ideas relative to the sound. That was a great first start. I appreciate all your efforts. The sound was a big issue.
Okay, thank you. We got a recording too, so we can hear what you were hearing.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Glad to see you.
So you think you pushed that button when you picked it up just now?
Yeah, that's
Marvelous.
why I said, what's that button on the back? Because I felt something and I went, well, I don't know what that is.